the Council of Abavandimwe, commonly known as, of course, like I said, Council for Banyarwanda, is delighted to update the country on important matters regarding the citizenship, or our citizenship, and how we continue to be treated as we conduct business in this country of ours. So, again, on this day, we need to make very, very important clarifications, and we very importantly make an appeal to some of the Ugandan authorities on the issues of citizenry and access to official documents in our own country, Uganda. So the appeal we are making is to the authorities in this country, to you, the media fraternity, and to Ugandans who will hear or watch this message, to listen to our call. So fellow Ugandans, right from the 1900s, we may recall, those who really follow history, that there was a national census that was carried out by the British colonial government, and this should be even brought to the young generations to know, those who may not be aware, that at that point in time, the Banyarwanda actually were the fourth tribe in terms of population. So that's a fact. Dig out these archives, you will find that fact. In terms of numbers, if you look at the tribe then in Uganda, Banyarwanda were listed number 4 in terms of the population. I also want to bring your attention that despite this fact, much as it is not known by so many people, but the mere fact that the name of the tribe, Banyarwanda, it continues to links us with the neighboring country. To so many people, they tend to mistaken us and call us foreigners. However, to even make it worse, there are those people who deliberately use this as a weapon to segregate and victimize the Banyarwanda people here in our country. This overtime, therefore, has caused these Ugandans, under the flagship of the name Banyarwanda, to be segregated and treated like non-Ugandans. Much as this country is with no contention, globally acclaimed for welcoming foreigners, as you know all, refugees, and making it a country with the second largest concentration of refugees in the world, this should not in any way make some people alienated from their own country or from being citizens of this country. So by tagging them as foreigners in their own country. This is one reason in our briefing today, ladies and gentlemen, where we are proposing fellow Banyarwanda around this country to kindly consider renaming our tribe Abavandimwe. I want to repeat this. This is where we kindly request our fellow countrymen Banyarwanda around this country and everyone who is here today to consider renaming our tribe Abavandimwe. And I will come back to this later on. We will come to everyone around this country in consultation on this matter. We are not making a definitive conclusion that this is who we are, but it is a consultative process that begins today. We will today explain in detail why we are making this appeal for the betterment of the 11 million Banyarwanda or Ugandans who are currently known to be Banyarwanda tribe as per the Ugandan constitution. So allow me to talk about this name, trying to rebrand ourselves from Banyarwanda to Abavandimwe. Abavandimwe is the name we propose since it is emerging from the rich tradition of Abavandimwe. In other words, meaning celebrating the bond of brethren, sisterhood, brotherhood, like being the collective. So that is who we want to be called. So why are we going this path, or why do we want to rebrand? So before our country, Uganda attained her political independence, our forefathers had broken bread, as you know, shared dreams and aspirations for Uganda, and they celebrated birth, marriages, and different milestones together. We have also shared the pain of loss together, as we have also equally shared hope in all the dark moments of this country. So there is no person in Uganda who hasn't tasted happiness or pain or name it in togetherness. So we have been together in all this time. So I want to draw your attention to one seasoned journalist, Joachim Luwente, a distinguished Ugandan journalist, who at some point, I think in 2018, wrote in the East African newspaper, that is April 5th, 2018, and he asserts that Banyarwanda could be Uganda's biggest tribe. In his article titled Abanyarwanda, Uganda's biggest tribe, look around, they could well be, he said, those are not my words, members of the press. He continues, there is enough circumstantial evidence for which I have been encountering in recent years. He adds still, Banyarwanda are omnipresent and could be Uganda's largest tribe, as Kinyarwanda blood probably runs in most Ugandan veins. And whoever thinks it is an issue just needs to commission a scientific study, as matters of tribes cannot be just settled verbally by arguments. So there is a need for, according to him, a scientific study to clarify this. So he also cites a study done at Uganda's independence in 1962, which he found that a fifth, that is 20% of people in Hutu County then of Uganda Kingdom were ethnic Banyarwanda. That's a study that is available. It can also be assumed that today, and he talks about as of then, 2018, that a fifth of Hutu people who don't have Rwandan, there is only a fifth of Hutu people who do not have Banyarwanda blood in them. He adds, while this is debated, what is settled, however, is that Banyarwanda are not a minority tribe, rather one of the biggest ethnic communities in Uganda. I conclude his quotation. Now, I want to draw you to the concerns we have, why we even try to come up with what we are, the proposal we are suggesting to Ugandans today. So I want to tell you that members of our tribe are being denied access to the national identity cards and passports, which are the most important documents that every Ugandan should and must have. And I'm very sure all of you seated in front of us to find that as a right. But it is not a right to so many Ugandans, like we are reading right now. Unlike our fellow Ugandans, our tribe is being systematically locked out of economic opportunities. Publics are even into public service of this country. Some of us cannot even get phone SIM cards. We can't even open bank accounts, even acquire loans. At worst, exercise our patriotic duty to join police or armed forces. So this is tear-causing, ladies and gentlemen, painful to be happening to Uganda. So some of the research we have shows that 80% of our young people who have at one point tried to apply for passports to be able to travel and seek jobs elsewhere out of this country, maybe even others go for treatment. We have vivid evidence of people who were really on their deathbeds and want to go for treatment. Others go for businesses that have been denied access to these important documents, despite them being citizens of this country, or citizens of Uganda, being Ugandans. So I'll give you a case in point here, and I want you to hear this very, very clear. There is a gentleman, his name is called Godfrey Kajengwa, a Ugandan, born and raised in Kasiso village, Chitale Parish, Namuganga sub-county, Nachifuma County, in Mukono district. He has a national identity card. He even recently voted in the general election at Kajans B, that is where his polling station is, in Chitende, where he owns a property. He has a business here, but his business thrives on going abroad, but he has been denied a passport to go out of this country to continue doing his business. So that is how you see people being suffocated despite the fact that they are Ugandans like every Ugandan in this country. So in relation to such issues, ladies and gentlemen, we recently had a very good engagement with His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And he himself expressed dismay and pain that some of his fellow citizens of this country can still be treated in such a manner by some wrong elements in government. He promised to have this matter resolved with immediate effect, and of course we thank him really so much for his concern and finding it really abnormal that his fellow citizens are being denied the right to belong, the right to have access to the most important document one can have that defines them as a citizen, as a Ugandan. So, but this poor discrimination is driven by several factors, if I may tell you, including a failure to differentiate between nationals of Rwanda and the group of Banyarwanda who migrated to Uganda as early as 1900 and have since become an indigenous tribe in this country. While the framers of the 1995 Constitution of Uganda debated and settled or agreed that Banyarwanda is a tribe like any other tribe in Uganda, and they listed this tribe to be number 24, they did not foresee, members, how difficult it would be for Ugandans to understand the difference between Banyarwanda in Uganda and Banyarwanda of Rwanda. So, in many of Uganda's tribes, I want to make this very, very clear, including the widely spoken, let's even consider one language that is widely spoken, which is Uganda. People from countries are identified by the name of their country. For example, Ugandans are Bana-Uganda, Kenyans are Bana-Kenya, Sudanese are Bana-Sudan, Sudan, Rwandans are Banyarwanda. So many Ugandans therefore innocently think all Banyarwanda and nationals of Rwanda. This perception has been used by politicians and lately security agencies to demonize members of our community. Recently, we simply carried out a simple survey of 517 people, asking a simple question. If you are told that so and so is a Banyarwanda, what comes to your mind? We were surprised by two statements. So 97% of the people we asked said that person is Rwandese. While 94 indicated that that person is a foreigner. So just imagine. And there is another question we asked, if you were a man and I said I am getting married to Banyarwanda, what comes to your mind? What came to the minds of those people was that, is the introduction happening in Rwanda? So you can imagine the kind of misinformation that comes with being called Banyarwanda. So in order to help Uganda and the government of Uganda to make a clear and definitive distinction between nationals of Rwanda and our tribes here in Uganda, we believe this is the time we should be rebranded to a community called Abavandimwe, as I explained earlier. this would help us to create a stigma-free Uganda. So today's press conference, members who are here, is an appeal to all Ugandans and authorities to make a distinction between our tribe, which has been indigenous in Uganda even before colonial boundary demarcations of Uganda as a country was made, and nationals of Rwanda. So following this press conference, ladies and gentlemen, we will share the stories of our members who for decades have been your neighbors, brothers, sisters, in-laws, business partners, workmates, you name it. Yet today, they are being denied their national IDs, passports, SIM cards, bank accounts, access to capital in Uganda. In this environment, as you know, ladies, how do you thrive? Before you even thrive, how do you survive when you don't have such facilitation? So stories of young people who have given up traveling abroad, just given up, not because they have been denied a visa, but their country has denied them a passport. So they have lost scholarships. Education is so important to people, but they have lost scholarship opportunities because they can't just travel. How they wish magicians can come in their lives and they can fly and live without need for passport, but it can't happen. They have lost assets like land by being painfully rejected. Sometimes they are painfully rejected by families of their fiancés because they are Banyarwanda. Because of this misleading perception that we are foreigners. So here is our promise, Uganda, that effective this week, we will embark on conducting a countrywide consultation among our members with the view of popularizing our proposal to rebrand our tribe and secure the future of our posterity. So our current generation may not be the beneficiary of this initiative, and rightly so. We may not benefit from this. But someone has got to do something. And we, you see here, and others, we are a community of over 260,000 members of the Council for Abavandimwe, or Council for Banyarwanda. We have chosen to do something to help people who are not here now, but we are looking at the generation that must come, 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, 50 years, who will enjoy and thrive in their country, Uganda, to make them escape the dehumanization we are being subjected to today. So the work we are starting today will not stop until all Ugandans, ladies and gentlemen, can clearly tell the difference between nationals of Rwanda and our tribe. And the Constitution has, until even the Constitution has been amended to reflect this reality. We are suffering from dehumanization. We are suffering from segregation. We are suffering from being victimized. This has to be changed. I implore you to think, if you went to a foreign country and you're being treated the way I have just described. That is the worst situation that can ever happen to human beings. So, we dream of a Uganda where our children, grandchildren, and their grandchildren will live peacefully from self-stigma. Some of our people cannot even pronounce that they are Banyarwanda. They will all find names, Semanda. They are going to call themselves Semuju. They are going to call themselves everything to try live, but they only live within their skin. People should move with their hands up, excited to be who they are, and